सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्वी शान्ति शान्तिः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ Last time I was talking about Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam. And then we discussed which form should we worship the Lord. Lord being the entire creation, it's not separate from Ishvara. You cannot exclude any form. Which form can you exclude? You cannot exclude. And since creation is non-separate from the Creator, Ishvara, we can worship Him in any form. So whatever form suits you or attracts you, naturally you can connect with that form we should worship. Like that, the teacher now proceeds to talk about japa. The next sloka is Uttamastava Duchyamandatah Chittajam Japa Dhyanamuttamam. This is meant for a person who enjoys relative tranquility, relative peace of mind, or relative freedom from rajas. To that person, one who doesn't need any support system, any support forms to engage in the activity, to connect to the Lord, to that person, that is japa. And before japa, he says, Uttamastavat Uchyamandatah. That Panchami Tavat, Uttamastavat, compared to loud singing of the Lord. What is Uttama? Ucha Mandataha. Ucha means chanting, loud chanting. Mandataha with chanting with low tone, almost murmuring. Chittajam japa. The word japa goes with all the three. Ucha japa, manda japa, chittajam japa. Chitta japa means mental japa, or you can say that itself is dhyanam, and that is uttamam, relative. Means is more efficacious, is more useful. In one sentence, compared to loud singing, japa is more efficacious. And in japa also, the loud chanting of a mantra is efficacious than a stotra. But then little low voice or almost murmuring chanting of a japa mantra is more efficacious than louder chanting. And mental japa, manasa, mental chanting japa is still more efficacious than the previous two. So, Uttama Kramat, it is Uttamam, efficacious or more useful or more helpful in order. Why it is said so? Because here the means to involve the sadhanani, scaffoldings to connect, to help my mind connect are getting reduced. It is only mental karma that person is doing. Now, though Acharya starts with Uttama Stava, louder chanting, but you can say singing bhajan. Next to puja, the bhajan singing is an activity which is done at the level of speech only, where it helps one to concentrate, it helps one to invoke a devotee, it helps one to have an attitude of surrender, because two reasons are there, and it helps one to absorb also. Why it helps one? Because there is a order, there is a music. And when there is a music, when there is a harmony, mental absorption becomes easier. And when you know the words of that particular bhajan, it invokes a bhava. Here, I have to caution this, provided it is done in awareness, provided it is done with the consciousness. You are behind that. Otherwise, singing bhajan, singing dhuna, or some name with the music becomes habitual. Mind keeps wandering and the tongue keeps singing it. It doesn't make any sense. In a sense, the devotee in me is not invoked. The attitude of surrender, attitude of love is not invoked, and therefore it becomes a non-productive exercise. Bhajan does help. Next to bhajan comes a chanting of some stotra, some hymn. Maybe Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram, or you can chant Rudram, or whatever, Lalita Sahasranam, or Shiv Mahimna Stotram, whatever you know and whatever you like to chant, you chant. That is also because it has, because there are a number of names. Suppose you chant Vishnu Sahasranam, there are 1,000 names, and that invokes a feeling of surrender, and it helps one to discover a devotee into oneself. Now, one important practice in all religion, for your information, all the Abrahamic religion have this practice. And all most prominent, fairly prominent religion which originated from India also have this practice. You can say interfaith common practices of religious practice is japa. Muslims also have some japa, Christians also have japa, and Buddhist tradition, Jain tradition, all of them have system of doing japa. Okay? And so also in our tradition. So much so, Bhagavan says in Gita, Yagnanam japa yagnosmi. I am the yagna, chanting japa itself is a yagna, and that is my swarupa. And while concluding in the 18th chapter, 3 things Bhagavan tells that you should not give up. Yagno dhanam tapaschaiva natyajyam karyameva tat. These 3 things one should never give up. There also there is an emphasis. So, japa has a place in our tradition. More so in Hindu tradition, a child, before he or she goes to teacher, is initiated into japa. And they are supposed to perform this japa daily, called as Gayatri Mantra Japa. So Gayatri Japa is initiated to every child before the child goes to teacher. Now, this is an upaya which is useful for moksha also. Very important. Even having taken to life of sannyasa, wherein all the karmas are given up, sannyasi is also given a special mantra where he or she has to do that japa. Okay? Now, and in the 6th chapter, when Arjuna gives the vision of the self, that the self is non-dual, self is the self of all, and the self is not separate from me, the Ishvara, that section when he concludes, Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra, Sarvam Chame Pashyati, etc., etc., there Arjuna says, Yoyam yogas tvaya proktah sammena madhusudan. Oh Lord, this particular yoga of oneness. See, I had told you earlier, in Gita, the words, especially the word yoga, is used to mean different in a different context. In the 6th chapter here, Arjuna says, Samena yogam yat uktam. That yoga of oneness, yoga of sameness. Actually, oneness is the better word. That there is one self in and through entire creation, every individual, and it is one self, that is the self of the Ishvara. That you told, I find it very difficult. Tasyaham na pashyami. It's difficult to abide. I find it difficult to own up that vision because chanchalatvat sthitim sthiram. Sthiram sthitim na pashyami. Kasmat manasah chanchalatvad. Mind being restless, I cannot see. How to master that restless mind? How to bring back that restless mind to one focus or one goal? And to that, Arjuna further says, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna. Oh Krishna, my mind is restless. And it is very, very stubborn, very obstinate, and very powerful. Therefore, it's all very difficult to master or control the mind and abide in that vision which you just gave me, vision of oneness. That's Arjuna's question. And in reply to that, in the 6th chapter, Bhagavan confirms, if I use the modern jargon of modern psychology, Bhagavan validates the problem. Yeah, Arjuna, you are right. Mind is restless. Chanchalam himana Krishna. There Krishna says, this was a statement of Arjuna. Asamshayam mahabaho manodur nigraham cha. There is no doubt that mind is restless, and there is no question that it is very difficult to master the mind. But then, how to master the mind? How to make myself free from the slavery of my own mind? There, he gives a upaya. In the first upaya, there are 2 upayas. 2 means Bhagavan gives. Bhagavan says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chigruhyate. O Arjuna, by abhyasa and by vairagya. There, the word abhyasa means japa. So, for the seekers of moksha, japa is equally important, is very important. And let us see how. First of all, they